Okay.
Hello, so this is Hugo, organizer of the hackathon, and I'm here on this call recording to let you meet Lou and Niall from Micasa. I'm here also with Reyes, who's the participant, and we are going to go through the challenge and what you can do with Lou and Niall. Maybe a really quick intro from Niall and Lou, and then we have questions about the challenge. Is that okay with you?
Okay with me. Okay with me. So I guess I'll start with this one.
Sounds good.
Hi, my name is Niall. I'll call myself a CTO for Micasa. And just to give you a overview of the app and the challenge. So I know many of you have been to events. You have seen what it's like to go out and go to your friend's jam or birthday party, something where it was intimate yet still the time of your life. Well, Mikasa is looking to continue to bring that to the forefront, but allow the tools to make creating those events easier, more accessible, as well as offer different ways where people can share the profits and share the resources in creating these events. So we're looking for bright young minds or older minds, well, just bright minds who are looking to try and figure out new ways for people to engage in collective and community event organization. So there's some functionalities that are in the app currently that tackle some of those, and I will wait till we talk about the challenge to get more of that into details. But there's already a functioning app where we've tackled some of those challenges, and you'll be able to get a chance to take a look at that and improve upon it and see what ways that you can find that are more innovative that really take on the challenge of collective community event organization. We'll also get an opportunity to look at some research from user research from previous users of the app, and it's highly recommended that you do your own research either in communities in your own local area. If you're reaching out online, it's highly recommended that you go and find other people who are doing events and see what it is that they need or they would need from an app like Mikasa, or and use that in your presentation. Um, we're really focusing on making sure that the app is accessible, making sure some of those core challenges that you'll see in the document later are tackled, and that the people who will most likely be artists, creatives, maybe not the most technically savvy, would still be able to use and go through the app with ease. So um, that's the general, very simple overview for now, and I'll leave the rest to Lou to tell more about what is Mikasa and why Mikasa even exists.
Okay. I'm happy to jump in there, and I'm letting Hugo kind of direct the rest of this call. Hugo, should I just keep going to talk about Mikasa, what it is, where it comes from, and what this project is about?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm just gonna say that for participants to know, when you connect to the app.genhacks.com, and you come back to the dashboard as a participant, you will find the resources um, underneath the dashboard in the app. So what Niall was saying, access to the designs, access to all the resources that Niall and Lou have put together for you is already there in the app, and you have a link you can click and you will get to a lot of information on a Notion that they've put for you. So Reyes, you can test that live if you want. We just uploaded this. So Rian and Lou, let us know more.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Niall, for speaking to Mikasa as a cultural phenomenon, as a piece of technology. I'm the founder of Micasa. I'm a New York City native. Um, I'm a musician. I create events. I'm also an attorney and I wear these hats. You know, everybody wears hats. But in wearing those hats, a little while ago, I had the idea of trying to create a platform whereby I might want to use it because I like to cook and have people over. And I thought, why not? Why isn't there already some sort of a platform for for chefs to have a meal at their house? So then it's like an Airbnb sort of thing. From that, my idea evolved over the years. I actually sort of did some early UX work to show that dining specifically wasn't really the right idea for what I was trying to create. Was really more about intimacy of experiences, collaborating with artists or with chefs, bartenders, any kind of performers, finding spaces. So Micasa was really born out of that idea that it's just not always easy to understand, how do I create my own event? If I don't want to go to a normal venue, if I have a nice space, or if I don't have a nice space, but I want to create an event, I want to find a space, or I want to sell tickets, I want to collaborate with performers. All of these are questions people run into when they think about engaging in something like event creation. So last year we did an initial sort of a beta on it together. And from that, we learned quite a bit. And in doing so, we also ran a bunch of launch events. I have connections to lots of different communities here in Berlin, all of whom are sort of already partly invested in. Nice thing about Micasa, whatever we end up building with your help, it's going to go directly to a group of users who are ready for it. And so I don't want to talk too specific yet about some of the pain points or some of the challenges that we learned during our beta. But I will say, I wanted to give you this sort of guiding notion of what Micasa is. We've spoken about the fact that it's an events platform. I think that it's also kind of effective and efficient to talk about how there are already event platforms, most specifically Eventbrite, but also Partyful are two that are really the most important from my perspective right now. Is for ones that people are using. There's key differences between those two, and we're kind of the combination or somewhere in between. Because Partyful is one you typically use to engage with your friends and have a private event. Eventbrite is one you typically use to have an event for the public and sell tickets. What we've built is sort of a tool whereby you can create your own event and engage with your friends, but also engage the public and distribute the revenue that you generate amongst your collaborators. So Partyful doesn't really have a lot in the way of revenue generation or distribution, or event discovery, meaning you don't really use Partyful to find events around you, and you surely don't use Partyful to buy tickets to things. Likewise, Eventbrite is good for creating an event and selling tickets. It's not great for event discovery in terms of letting people around you know what's there. Also not great for collaborating, for finding participants to help you create an event, nor for distributing the revenue that you take in amongst your collaborators. So this is all what we've envisioned, a tool to really streamline the process of creating an event with collaborators and also really innovate in terms of how the revenues can be distributed. So I'd like you all to keep in mind that it's really important for us to recognize those two platforms. I don't think of them as competitors. I think of them as examples of successful platforms contain functionality. It's important that we include. It's very smooth for how it's just to create an event for people. That's part of how it succeeds. So in what we've built, we want to look for, or I want to ask this question: if we have a budget here in Brooklyn already using, can we be sure that if we are going to ask them to transition over to what we're going to call the Brooklyn Partyful, because Micasa is going to grow from Brooklyn, we want to make sure that what we offer is in no way lesser than what they're already doing, but simply adding more efficiency or new features, and enhancing what they can already do. I hope that gives some sense of direction as to what Micasa is and what we're building. And in the resources, you'll find wireframes on the original design. You'll also find information about getting onto Test Flight, which is the Apple developers platform through which you can click through the current build, because the current build of Micasa differs slightly from the wireframes. So if possible, on that current build, you'll be able to see even more about the initial design from which we want to grow, or which we want to sort of improve upon. And so I'm really excited just to see what you guys make of our project and how you think we, what ideas you come up with for making Micasa a world-changing piece of technology.
Thank you for summarizing it, Lou. Thank you for the intro, Niall. I I would have questions, but I would like to see, Reyes, what do you think? You have any questions you'd like to ask the team, or would you like to switch to seeing what's existing or the resources themselves? You're on the spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, Reyes. You have right now. You have you have the advantage. You're getting all the information
All the
firsthand. So
information. Oh,
And don't worry if you don't have a question right now, we can just
no, not right now. I'm like blanking on any question right
yeah.
now.
So
okay. I actually have some questions for Reyes. Is that okay? Is that okay for
yeah,
me to
when do
ask?
you okay, let's do that.
So Reyes, how like for design and your journey into design, what interested you in this hackathon and what made you want to be a part and to help this grow?
Uh, my own experience, I was just looking for hackathons, seeing another project I could be part of, and it interests me because it is a real life project, and I that was part of the engagement. I like something new and different than self-taught or fictional projects, and this one's a real life. So that was one of the points that led me to join.
Awesome, awesome,
Great.
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you so much for joining tonight, because otherwise I don't know how I would feel. Uh, so that's really helpful. Thank you. And so hopefully your questions about the challenges that we're going to explore are going to guide also other people's. And so you're going to be our main participant, at least in the beginning. I'm going to follow up with everyone. This is your hackathon, everyone. So I'm here to support you. I'm here to answer any question you have. I'm on my phone. I'm really here to try and support you. So we really don't hesitate. And I will say that in my experience, hackathon participants do not, because it's remote, right? We're not all around the table for real. We're all around the table here in these events and these rooms. So you can create rooms like that. You have chats with that are created automatically, that you can chat with the other person in your team if you have to. If not, you can invite someone, and it's about communicating usually. So don't
Yeah,
hesitate. Yeah,
I'll probably have to do that because right now I'm solo.
which is fine for this specific challenge. We thought it
Yeah.
was fine to have very small teams because it's about UX research for something quite specific, and the prize structure makes it better if you're alone in the team, or two max. That's why we did it this way. But sometimes in hackathons we have 4 or 5. So if you want more people, it's okay, but you'll have to share the prize. But I can create a larger team for you. It's up to you.
Yeah. Or would you rather work as a team or as solo, Reyes? Like what's more of your style?
Either or, I think it's fine for now because I see that most participants are on the East Coast and Central, and I'm Pacific.
Oh, where you at?
Gotcha.
Southern California, small town.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. I have friends in San Diego.
Oh,
Not too far. So that's that. Well, all right. So just wanted to share that I'm available for you. So don't hesitate that to reach out. And I think Lou, you wanted to mention some of the specific blocks that you experienced, some of the specific challenges, and maybe we deep dive in that. Is that a good thing to do, Lou and Niall?
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, it's not a long list. I think it's actually it makes sense to really narrow it down. There were two primary pain points, which I recognized made it tough to convince people to want to use our app rather than, let's say, something like Eventbrite. One of which was that our app generated deep links, which meant you could click the link to go into an event page on the app, but there was no web platform. There was no way to engage with Micasa or with its events or buy tickets or anything except through the app. So it was tough because if I wanted to recruit a producer or create an event and ask somebody to send their audience or their fans a link, those fans expect that the link will just allow them to click it and then boom, you buy a ticket, you're done. Rather than click a link, go to the app store, download an app, create an account, yada, yada, yada. So that was crucial and really a deal breaker in a sense to try to grow and build community when it's just an obstacle that wasn't already there. It was just making it more complicated than it would have been to use a different platform. So building in Flutter, which is not necessarily something you need to know for your UX UI, but we're doing our new project in a cross-platform environment where our code base will work for a web-based integration as well. So that's part of solving this problem. I think in your UX UI research, you can think about, well, at what point or to what extent do we want the web platform to mirror the app? Anyway, so that was one big one. And the other was the question of how and when in the user flow to onboard onto a payment processing platform. It's easy enough to buy a ticket. We used Stripe in our design, and from the UX UI standpoint, it was just as easy as, click it, buy a ticket, and then, you can enter your card information and check out just as easy as you would on any other platform. But when you get paid by Micasa, when you want to create an event where you're going to sell tickets, or you want to be a co-host, so to speak, and collaborate with a host to be sharing in the proceeds from an event, we used Stripe Connect, which was another platform which enabled us to sort of distribute the revenue Micasa took in to the different hosts, and getting through that process was really thorny for a lot of our users to go through multiple screens, put in their social security number and all kinds of other personal data, which just was more than you would have wanted to do to just engage in event creation. So we have a technical solution to that, but so the technical solution is not so much your concern from the UX UI standpoint, but just bearing in mind that the user flow is inevitably going to include some step at which you're going to need to not once you've already created your Micasa account or even your Micasa profile, to go one step further in order to share the information you need to share in order to get paid. So we want to just be mindful that, like, the holy grail of this process is to create a collaboration platform where it feels seamless. You can sign up and you're onboarded and you can get paid through the platform in a way that feels secure, but also painless. And that's huge. I would say there's a lot more in there to learn about as far as our goal of networking and creating a community of event goers, event creators. I think the guiding principle here, which is not necessarily something we learned as a problem, but certainly a goal which we continue to pursue, is that when you use Micasa, we're blurring the lines between these different user types. You buy a ticket as a guest, or you create an event as a host, or you perform as a collaborator. Anybody who uses this platform is sort of invited to play any one of those roles. And the way we've designed it, the way it says, you can have your account on there. You can add to your profile maybe that you're a musician, and suddenly people can find you and you can take part in an event on the other side, rather than having, just buying a ticket. So the idea that it takes a village is sort of like, a community and an event features all sorts of people who can contribute. And our whole ethos and our culture at Micasa is about that. The community is full of all sorts of creative people, and making these events happen, it often requires lots of different skills. So we want to create a tool that helps people around you know what's happening, helps you find the people around you who might want to participate, um, and really empowers people with spaces, people with talents, people with an interest in finding events to find each other. So yeah, that guiding North Star is about the community and how, um, helping people find each other is what we're all about, and helping them kind of revenue share is a more specific function. Um, there are specifics, but I like that as the guiding principle. I
Yeah.
don't think of any other really specific issues, problems that needed to be improved upon. Um, Although I'm sure in your own research and doing your UX geniusing, you'll find, oh, this is inefficient, this could be better, or maybe that user flow is unnecessary. So we're not married to it, right? Whatever you guys feel as to like the way to optimize what we're doing, um, we'd love to see. So, but yeah, those are the two most important issues we gleaned during the beta. Um, and So yeah, beyond that, just
Mhm.
looking forward to see what's up.
Yeah. I would like to give two use cases where you kind of get an idea of where Mikasa would be used most. Imagine if you are an artist. A lot of us have some type of hobby, whether that be you like to cook, you play an instrument, and or maybe you do comedy, and you're used to going out to shows, and you and your friends may go to a comedy show or may go to an open mic, and you love going out, and you want to do something just like the same things you see when you go out. You want to do your own comedy show. Maybe you want to do your own open mic. Maybe you want to, as Lou mentioned earlier, you want to cook and you want to invite people over to have dinner. So you start making your event, and you notice now that you're making an event for the first time, there's so many things that you need. You notice that maybe you need a PA system. Maybe you need other performers. Maybe you just need people to come to your event, and you don't know how to start any of that. So where's the first place you go? You go to your friends. You go to your friends, you go to the other artists in your community, and now you're trying to put together this event. But if anyone has ever worked with artists, it's chaos. It's, oh, this person's trying to, who do I need to speak to get to get this? And you're trying to speak to someone to get the PA system, and you're trying to coordinate times, and everything's so all over the place that it's hard for you to even get there. But most events, you eventually get there, and it's a good time. The goal is trying to make this entire event experience, so this the collaborative event experience, seamless. And not only seamless, what you notice that happens a lot of time is when you are starting out and you're starting out as an artist or a creative doing an event, it can be expensive when having to having to hire a musician. That's going to cost you 400, 500, maybe $600 an hour. Same thing with finding a venue and getting a PA system. Renting out a PA system may cost you $300 an hour. $75 an hour, 100, all these different price points. And most of the time, you may not have that up front. But if you can ask a friend to, hey, can you lend a hand? Hey, can you lend your time? It makes these things more possible for the artists and the collaborators who are starting out in their journey. But at the same time, no one has the time just to work for free or to give themselves for free. So being able to collaborate and share resources allows for those experiences to be more affordable and it to be more available and accessible to the regular artists and the regular artists out there. So that's on the artist side and those who are hosting. Now let's switch it to the other side for those who are attending events. Imagine you're looking for events to go to, and where are the first places people usually go to? They're going to Eventbrite. And you go to Eventbrite and you see the same old, same old, same old events. It's club this, it's speed dating that. It's all the same regular, highly popularized events that it's not your style. You want something a little more intimate, you want something a little more artsy, you want something that feels more authentic and natural. Well, because the app is really made for artists and those who are starting out, those who are creatives, you're going to find more of those places that host those kind of people. So think of creating a experience where those people and those kind of events can be found and can be communicated. So how can you really get across the naturalness of those kind of events and those kind of people? How can you express that this is a safe space when you're going to these kind of events? How can you express that creativity and freedom with these kind of events as someone who is looking for those kind of hosted events? So, just an example of some kind of events that you would usually find on the cast, as I mentioned, open mics, comedy shows. Um, you can think of even like yoga sessions or sound healing. Some of those things where you usually find are more intimate in more intimate settings. Those are the kind of events, and those are the kind of that's the kind of vibe that's going to be in the Mikasa ethos. So those are your two use cases that you can usually find the best. They're going to be artists or creatives who are looking to host, and then you have your attendees who are looking for something more intimate. But here's the caveat, and here's something that those who are going to be a part of this challenge, I want you to be aware of. The two the hosts and the attendees can be interchangeable because even attendees can become hosts. And the hosts want to be attendees because it's one big community. And we're really trying to build something that's for the community, that's for bringing people together. So I want everyone to keep that in mind that when you're building, this is for people who are going to be seeing each other more than once. This may not be a one-off event. This may be I come back 5 times. And how can you really sell people on that? This is this is a community. This is unity. That's going to be a really big portion, a really big part of this app, because there's more than enough apps where people can just go and find events. As we mentioned earlier, this Eventbrite, this Partyful, there's more than enough apps where ticketing and you just finding an event is possible. But how can you set yourself apart? How can you create a design that really sells the unity of people? And so I'm excited to see what you create and know that this is an app for creatives. And if you yourself are a creative, so it's an app for creative by creatives.
All right. Thanks, now. So I'm on my phone. It's about to die. I think that's a cue that I'm going to have
Okay.
to wrap my participation in this call.
All right. Well, I think you shared a lot of right information, the right culture that you want to create, the right kind of experience, and then the detail is to be determined. And we'll have more participants to ask questions. Reyes, maybe 1 minute. Do you have any question, any thought at this point? What do you think?
I thought it was like very similar because similarity to a service internship I had, a different industry, but similar, like providing for people, connecting with others. So there's a similarity to it.
Okay, and how inspiring is that for you? Do you think you have different angles that you can work with at this point?
At this point, yes, I do.
Okay,
Different angles.
and so I
Awesome.
invite everyone who's looking at this video to look at the resources that I just uploaded. You're gonna find a link to the Notion that Niall shared. You're gonna have more questions tomorrow. Ask the questions in the chat or set up a meeting with Lou, Niall, or me so that we can answer your questions over 15 minutes calls, or again, just ask the question in the chat, and that's going to be useful for you and for other people. So really appreciate the time you're taking with us, and we'll be in touch every day.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Yep.
Can